Ladies and gentlemen, the coolest uniform in a long time has finally arrived, and we got his potential, so we're going to be checking out Hulkbuster at level 70 and level 80. Primarily, however, though, we're going to be focusing on PvP, because he has this counterattack, iframe ignore ability. Unfortunately, he doesn't have revive or immortality or any of those other effects. He does have passive healing and stuff like that. But he also does have big, juicy, chunky base stats. You can see he's got very high defenses, very high HP, because he's a combat type, and he's the Celestial Hulkbuster. But, as always, we want to test him out in PvE first, just in case there's anybody out there who wants to use him in PvE. I'm not recommending it, per se, but I am pointing that out. He also has a support ability, where he gives all Technokinetic allies, all machine allies, 35% HP. It's not as good as War Machine's support ability, but it is still relevant. It's still something. It's kind of like Victorious, but only for robots. And then he also does have a lead that is about as good, a little bit better, I would say, than War Machine's, because it applies to all allies instead of just blast allies. And then it also gives an extra bump to Tony. However, it is depressing to see how many people misunderstand this leadership and think that it's better than having a Giga support like Nick Fury or Valkyrie or something like that. Anyways, it is what it is. The only sort of bummer here is, unlike Tony, unlike War Machine, Hulkbuster's rotation is not very good. It's delay 5, delay 4, and then 3. Now, it's a V-pad 3, which is very fun to zoom around in. But yes, it has a double delay. Yes, an awful double delay. And you have to do 5 first. You can't do 4 first, because the hits on 4 take too long, start too early. So yeah, you do get almost 100 hits, which is nice. But you need to delay 5 just a touch for him to get into the air, and then you have to delay 4 for him to get back down. So there's a bit of a nice rhythm to it with him going up and down, but even then you can see it's not a very consistent number of hits. Sometimes it's 97, sometimes it's 90, sometimes it's 94, whatever. And then, of course, when you have the Awakening skill, you're going to go up, down, and all around, and then you're going to pop the Awakening, and then it blasts off, and you don't touch it, you don't cancel it, because he actually blasts and hits harder towards the end. All of that to say, I don't think he's proc-friendly, but let's just test it out, just in case. Also, keep in mind, he doesn't have guaranteed crit rate. He has chain hit damage reduction and healing, but no guaranteed crit. So I think a rage is basically off the table. Like his brother War Machine, we're going to test Hulkbuster against Gore, but this is stage 50, not 60. We're just going to make one tweak to his rotation. We're going to cancel out of the third skill at the beginning rather than at the end when we have the 6th skill up. I was honestly expecting that to do more damage. It didn't. I think maybe it was a combination of missing procs and, or not missing procs, but not having the damage from the 3rd skill maybe. I don't know. We wanted the buffs from the 3rd skill, but as you can see, his damage is nothing to write home about. He's obviously super tanky, but that's not really enough, especially when he's not that easy to play. Like, if he was super easy to play, I would say, yeah, rock on. But, yeah, you can see here, even when you hit the proc and everything lines up, the damage... Man, I wish the damage was better. It's not very good. We're 10 stages lower than War Machine. This is more stressful to play. And the result is not not better. And then his 1 and 2 are just like basically useless dead skills. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, not great on the AOE. Obviously the V-pad is amazing, outstanding. We love V-pads here on the channel, but he's taking a lot of damage from these clowns, man. But I don't even know if he can get through this, frankly. So this is probably where we're going to call his PvE testing, because if he can't get through these little clowns... Oh, he got through them. Wow. Okay. All right, he got through the clowns. We'll keep going. Let's go ahead and see. This is like his best possible rotation with the Awakening skill. Oh, my God. It's like 2.5 bars, dude. Yeah, it's not good, boys. It's not good. It's not good, boys. It's not good. We're gonna pop the counter skill to see if it does more damage. No, it doesn't. Okay, yeah, there's just no way to get more damage out of your Hulkbuster, eh? It's cool. Like, I'm really happy they gave him a V-pad skill, but man, like, this is the best possible case scenario for his damage. For me. Mr. 25% pierce, Mr. You know, perfect 6/6 swords, with some emblems. You know, it's not really gonna get much better than this, boys, and which is not good. Now, obviously, that's at level 70. at level 80. Well, you know what? Screw it. Let's just take him to level 80 and find out. There you go. Monster Control. For those of you wondering why I didn't test him at level 70 in PvP, that's not possible. That's not happening. Unless the character has Immortality or Revive, or they are like native tier 3 or some native tier 4 new kind of beast. Level 70s are just not going to cut it, especially for native tier 1s and probably even native tier 2s. They almost never cut it at level 70. They need at least level 80 to make a difference in PvP. Again, unless they have those aforementioned traits. So we're actually going to go back and try him one more time at 80. I still think it's going to be bad, but I also just want to see him because I love Hulkbuster. I think it's really cool. And then we'll switch him over to a PvP build. I know what you're probably thinking. Hulkbuster with an energy? What the hell is Alex on? Listen, there are people who play the game like this, and they just want to enjoy blowing through bosses with their favorite character. Look at this damage. It's honestly serviceable. Yeah. I mean, stage 50 getting ripped by Hulkbuster. Not what I expected. Not what I had on my 2024 bingo card. That was all right. Oh my god, he just got one-shotted by the shit. Oh my god, are you for real, bro? I'm leaving this in the video. All right, with a few tweaks here, we're now rank 200, over 173,000 HP with the Uru looking like that, the ISO looking like that, no artifact, and then, like we said, the brilliant regen. I know it's a very rich build here, but because he's level 80, you kind of have to go for something like that. Now, I'm just going to build a bit of a generic team around him to see how he does, and we'll dive right in. I'm super skeptical about this, but we're just going to auto queue up against some of the pros here. We're not going to do like the top builds, but I also want to see what he does. Oh, he's just going to get slaughtered, eh? I don't know what I'm thinking here. He's just going to get slaughtered. Everyone's just running Sentry, man. He's just going to get absolutely annihilated. He doesn't stand a chance against Wolverine, man. Let's see what that second skill can do. Pop the second skill, buddy. Don't stay in the eye. Whoa, oh shit. Don't stay in the iframe. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, wow. He's doing something. He's doing something. Oh my god, wow. That was crazy. That was way better than I thought it was going to be. What the hell? The regen definitely makes him very tanky. And I think you saw the penetration interrupt Wolverine once. I actually don't want to tank my win streaks to test this shit. But that was not bad. Let me just queue up another team here and see. That was not bad. I kind of want to test him with a Brilliant Conquest as well, because I think he might be tanky enough. He might have enough base stats on his own to where he doesn't need to use like a regen or a refinement egg. But I was also a little bit... I like how he iframes on... Ooh, that was ugly. I was going to say, I like how he iframes on 5 and then does the second skill counterattack iframe. Ignore. But that one there just killed himself to reflect. That was... that was as ugly as it gets. All right, let's see. Let's find another team here. Let's see. Oh, hella. No. We're going to avoid teams with giga-stacked supports just because it's not going to be very indicative of anything. We're also going to avoid like the top teams here. We'll save that for like a Deadpool video or something like that. It's Silver Surfer at the beginning again. Okay, unfortunately, I think he's just going to kill himself to reflect off the bat. It's hard to know what these teams are doing with their setup. There, you can see that the regeneration actually helps I've talked to him again. Wow, I'm just not doing any damage. Does he... Hold on. Does he not have penetration on his second skill? Does he need a destruction? Does he not... Are you serious? Does he not have penetration? Oh my god. He's got iframe ignore without penetration. Oh boy. Okay, so that was cool that he was able to tank Silver Surfer for that long. That was cool. Again, I think the regen did a lot with the penetration chance, but he doesn't have... sorry, I'm getting confused, or I'm confusing you watching, because I'm talking about penetration chance on the CTP, which is different than penetration chance on skills. He doesn't have any chance to penetrate invincibility, super armor, immunity, immortality, shield. He doesn't have that on any of his skills. Literally not a single skill has that. So you would actually have to build him with a destruction if you wanted him to penetrate and try to get some kills with that with that second skill, iframe ignore counter. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Wow, I'm surprised. I should have picked up on that sooner. But yeah, he's just going to stand there and not be useless, but he might appear useless. But the problem is, with no defensive ability on the CTP now, he might just take too much damage and die right away. So we're going to have to wait and see. Let me just queue up a team here that doesn't have a support. This might be the trade-off. I don't know if he has enough stats to withstand the damage now, but at least he does have the chance to penetrate. It's only like a 34% chance or something like that. But let's see what he does now. Okay, he's going to do 5 here. He's going to do 2 in a second. No, eh? You you actually saw Silver Surfer's HP bar move, which is pretty cool. It actually moved, but nah, it's not enough, eh? You can try a couple more teams here, but it's pretty unfortunate. I think there's no chance for him in timeline battle because of the fact that you are sacrificing one thing for another. And I would say I'm not even sure that it's worth really genuinely building him because, man, no penetration is cringe. Like, I know Hela doesn't have penetration, but Hela has immortality. So I can't realistically recommend that you give him a destruction. Like, I think this is genuinely a bad build. I think he's really tanky, and it's really fun to try something like this, which is what I'm going to try now as we wrap up the video here. But this is obviously way too expensive. Like, no one would actually do this. I don't think you should give him a destruction, if I'm being honest with you. Do I think it's the CTP that makes the most sense, given the fact that he doesn't have penetration, but he does have iframe ignore? Kind of. But again, you're trading one thing for another thing, which doesn't actually make him better. It just makes him different. So that's where I'm kind of torn. I don't think. Yeah, man. I think he's like even for things like Otherworld. Like, I think Otherworld Battle is probably going to be his best case scenario because and obviously Conquest, because you can pair him with other technokinetic allies. They can benefit from that 35% HP, and then he can still do some damage when other characters are jumping in and iframe ignoring and interrupting and stuff like that, right? He can jump in and do some stuff. But because of no penetration, like, look at this. Look, every time he tries to damage Sentry, Sentry has one ability or another up. So even with an insane build, you're never going to... Look at this. Look at this. He's using his 6th skill. He's literally, like, tier 3ing Sentry. But there's no damage being registered because there's no penetration chance. There's 0 penetration chance. Do you know how many characters nowadays are always cycling in their PvP rotation? They're always cycling between invincibility and immortality and immunity. Immunity skill, and then when that's over, invincibility skill. It's so common nowadays that you don't even notice it until you play someone like Hela or someone like HULKBUSTER. So yeah, I think this experiment is kind of dead in the water. I wouldn't really recommend him for timeline battle in any serious way whatsoever. I would say maybe for Otherworld Battle / AC, but definitely not as like your main build, even at tier 4. Again, at tier 4, I think he's going to be very, very tanky, and I think if you check the builds, you're going to see some absolutely crazy tier 4 HULKBUSTERs that have like crazy stats. Like, look at this. Just under 200,000 HP, and he could probably go higher, but he's also rocking a Conquest, interestingly enough. Look at that. 44,000 physical defense. That's just like a lot of defense, right? But yeah, I think we need more. I think with more technokinetic allies, so if you go look by machine, I think if we have more relevant, strong machine allies for PvP, then I think HULKBUSTER becomes a much more attractive option. Like, if, you know, Ultron, Vision got tier 4, if a Destroyer got tier 4 and they were really good for PvP, if Nimrod got an upgrade to tier 4 and he was good for PvP, then you could certainly make a machine team for Otherworld Battle, and they could, and HULKBUSTER could absolutely be a part of that. But right now, bro, again, it's like, give a character penetration but no iframe ignore. Give a character iframe ignore but no penetration, and that's what we're seeing here. So yeah, kind of an unfortunate situation. I have no idea what build I'm going to give him. I'll probably end up with something like either a Mighty Conquest or a Mighty Regen, and I would roll the Mighty Regen for penetration. I would say that that's probably your best bet right now if you want to use Hulkbuster seriously for something like Conquest. Something that looks like this, where it has the penetration chance rolled there as high as possible. I think 50% is the highest. Yeah, and then you can just have him playing a Disruptor role with that tanky HP so he can absorb tons of damage, and he can proc that penetration multiple times to knock other characters out of iframe, and then either pray that he can get some hits in or that other characters can who actually have penetration. Anyways, that's the review. Unfortunately, can't recommend one of the most gorgeous uniforms we've ever seen because the devs didn't cook hard enough. But yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching the video. Smash the like button if you enjoy the content, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.